Alright, what's good, Wargamers? Welcome back to another Let's Play video. We are now doing the 1939 scenario, continuing the scenario, and we're going to jump into what I would call kind of like the transition phase or preparation phase of the European conflict of World War II. Now, why is that? Well, we had the Battle of France, which was a critical battle, critical campaign. It was kind of the, arguably, at least at the time, the decisive battle of the entire theater, because France was the largest army with respect to the German army and was a major threat to the German army, was the largest threat, and that threat was effectively neutralized. And you can see here on the map, I have it a little bit more zoomed in, France is now, occupied by the German forces, and, there are no more French forces. The British have withdrawn to the British Islands, and now, what's going to be the next plan for Germany. So whether it's going to be a southern strategy or an eastern front strategy, either way, we're going to see some kind of transition phase where the army's momentum shifts away from the west and is directed either to the south or east. And so with that, let's start the sequence. I would argue this is one of the slower sequences of the conflict, but you still have some exciting action events as Germany continues to expand its power. And so with that, we didn't do production for the Soviet side. I think in the last turn we deployed a Soviet reinforcement, but we actually didn't do Soviet production. And so that is right now the month of July. I'm going to go ahead and save that production to August. And so now we're going to have 36 additional production points for the month of August. And that's all we're going to do for the Soviets. We're going to save our production points so that we can then on the next turn spend that production on HQs, which now have a reduced cost of 15 production points rather than the typical 20 production points, because we achieved this diplomatic event called S1, Red Army Reforms Begin. And as you can see there, I'll zoom in a bit more. The HQs are at 15 production points. Boom. Something else that I didn't do correctly in the last log file is that I did transfer German units to the north, but I actually forgot to do the acclimatization for these militia units. So both units are actually going to be reduced by 1, because once they enter the northern front, they go through something called weather acclimatization or front acclimatization, and basically these units are going to be reduced by 1. And so with that, I think we're ready to start the German turn. I think what I want to do is I want to secure all of the French ports right now as quickly as possible. And so I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and activate one of the German HQs. Even though they're at level 2, I'm going to go ahead and do that because I don't want the British to establish some kind of fortified position in one of these ports. So let's see, I'll go ahead and activate OKW, and we'll deploy to Eindhoven, and we're going to now move German infantry units to occupy these ports. And so let's go ahead and start doing that. Let's figure out which German units I want to move up. We'll start with this unit, this 84th Corps. Let's see, where do I want to put it? Yeah, I got to figure out the German setup. We'll start with this German unit, this 1st German Corps, and we're simply doing rail moves. And we're going to move this unit by rail. And it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to Brest. Oops. Right there, the Brest. We'll go ahead and move, let's see, what other German infantry units do I want to move up? We'll move up this 11th Corps. Do a strategic rail move. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to Saint Nazaire. Then I'll go ahead and move this 84th Corps. Do strategic rail move. Going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 3 strategic rail moves. And then we'll do one more and move an infantry unit to the Dieppe port that you see there. And let's see, I'm looking for a weaker German infantry unit to move up. Let's go ahead and move up this German infantry unit. and we'll go move it by rail, going 1, 2, 3, just like that. And that's going to be 4 strategic moves. 4 strategic moves for the German army. Deactivate OKW, and then I'll go ahead and move it over to Berlin. Another thing we're going to do is activate Detail HQ, and we're going to attack Narvik. And our units there are at full strength, very nice. And then we're going to put an airstrike there. And so we have a pretty good chance of success there. And I think that's it for the Germans. There's also the Italians, and the Mediterranean front is now open. Because the Mediterranean front is now open, this middle seaway is actually going to be controlled by neither side, because the British control the eastern Mediterranean basin over here, while the Axis controls things like the Ionian Sea, Central Mediterranean Sea, the Tyrrhenian Sea. They control all these because these ports, these black ports, Tunis, Tripoli, over here in the south, Benghazi, over here, a little bit more to the east, they're all Axis controlled. And so all these basins are going to be Axis controlled. And so basically, the British lose control of the Middle Seaway. Earlier it was neutral. Those areas were neutral, but not anymore. So neither side controls the Middle Seaway. And as a result, I think what I'll do is I'll put 2 icons there, indicating that it's contested. And since neither side controls that body of water, the naval supremacy rules are now neutralized, and basically naval naval parity is now achieved. And what's going to happen there is that it's going to affect these assault repulse die rolls on the assault repulse table. And you can see there's a column that says NP, and that's for naval parity. And there's also for movement interdiction and supply interdiction, naval parity is now in effect between these two sides. So the dice rolls are slightly adjusted. It's basically harder to do operations by either side. And then with that, I don't think there's any other moves I want to do for the Axis. But the idea, the long-term strategy that I'm going to go for is Yugoslavia, try to conquer Yugoslavia. And so that's what we're going to do. It's going to take some time. But let's do this battle on Narvik. Let's prioritize Narvik so that we can restore our ore sea route and gain 5 production points in the process. So the British are very well defended. They have 3 units. We'll start with an airstrike. We score 2 hits. Very nice. The British roll 2 dice, scoring no hits. Now the Germans roll 8 dice in total with double fire. Ooh, and we score 2 hits. 4 hits in total. We score 6, 5, 5, 6. That's 4 hits in total. And just like that, in one turn, we scored the 6 hits we needed. We eliminated the British unit there. And now, that was actually a really nice roll. And now all of Norway is officially under German control. And as a result of that, we can go to the production table. And now the Germans are going to gain 5 production points in the process. This Axis or sea route interruption is now removed, and the Axis gain 70. Now they're at 78 production points, and so now we have full production available for the remainder of the campaign. So that's it. We'll now switch over to, let's see, the Soviet side, and see what the Soviets want to do for movement. I don't think there's anything that the Soviets want to do. Because our HQ is at level 2 rather than level 3, our Stavka HQ, so we'll go ahead and pass on that. And then let's see what the British want to do. See anything that the British want to be able to achieve. Oh, let's get rid of these strategic movement markers. And we do have an HQ at level 2, Supreme HQ at level 2. And so what I'm going to start doing is actually I'm going to start moving units all the way to North Africa. And the way to do it is that we actually have to move them all the way around the English Channel, the Atlantic Ocean. And then you can see here the Atlantic Ocean is a very large basin. And then we're going to send our units to South Africa. And so we can move 2 units because we have 4 supreme moves. And we're going to move 2 units, each 2 supreme moves apiece. So 1 in the English Channel, next one in the Atlantic Ocean, next in the English Channel as well. And we're basically sending these veteran units with these veteran markers into the Mediterranean front. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to send them all the way around to South Africa. Now, once they enter the Mediterranean front, they're going to go through acclimatization as well, except this time for the Mediterranean front, it's a -2 for acclimatization. So they're going to be reduced by 2. But just like that, we're now sending units all the way around to the Atlantic Ocean. And that's going to be it for the British. Deactivate this HQ. And that's going to be the end of the first fortnight. We can now move on to the next fortnight. I think we're going to pass for the Axis because we don't have any full HQs. So I think we're going to pass on that. Next, what we're going to do is pass on the Soviets, and then we're also going to pass on the British as well. So this turn is going to go by relatively quickly. And now we're going to switch over to the August production. The British production are at 22. And so we're going to go ahead and start building up our HQs. I think that's what takes priority right now. It's building up our HQs. So I think since we have 22 production points, I think we're going to save the British production on this turn. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and save the British production on this turn. And then we're going to basically, yeah, save it for the next turn. So we'll go ahead and do that. Markers. I'm going to get a blue marker here, and I'm going to put it in September, and it's going to be 22 production points plus for the British. So something else too is that now that the Mediterranean front is active, we do get a few more reinforcements in the Mediterranean front. And so if we look at the Allies, the British get this new unit in Karachi. So we'll go ahead and put this unit in Karachi, which is over here. Basically, it's part of India, Karachi. I'm curious to know where Karachi is on the map. You know, I wonder if it's still called Karachi in the modern day. Karachi is a major city of Pakistan. So in this game, it's India, but now, you know, following the events after World War II, India, you know, wanted its own independence, and it seems like Pakistan wanted its independence from India. So that's kind of interesting. So yeah, here it is, this port here. Presumably this is Karachi, and it's part of Pakistan. So it is a major naval base for the British Empire right now in what Google Maps calls the Arabian Sea, but in this game it is called the Indian Ocean right here. So I could have also put it on this little map as well. Either way is fine. So there's that. And then we also get a few more reinforcements. We get these militia units that we're going to place in Britain. Basically Home Guard, that's what the HG stands for, Home Guard. And we're going to put these units, I think, in the central Britain to basically protect Liverpool and Manchester. So we'll go ahead and do that. So no more reinforcements for the British. We'll now switch over to Soviet production. And so now Soviet HQs cost 15 apiece. So we're going to build those up. Our production right now is going to be 36 production points plus another 18. That puts us at 54 production points altogether. So we're going to build up 2 HQs, build up Stavka, and then I guess build up this Ukrainian HQ as well. And then now we're at 24 production points left. And with 24, we got to figure out what to build. I think we're going to start building up these mech units, prioritize the mech unit build. So that's going to be 6, 12, build up this infantry. What is that? 6, 12, 16. We have 8 production points left. And I think we'll go ahead and build up this armored unit. I think that's what we're going to do. Yeah. yeah, so that's that for the Soviets. Pretty straightforward production. We'll now switch over to the Axis, um, which now, primarily Germany is at 78 production points. We're going to prioritize building up our HQs first and foremost. So let's go ahead and start doing that. Going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to be 50 production points. That leaves us with 28 production points left. And let's see what kind of German reinforcements do we want to build up, if we have any. Not until November of 1940. So then we're going to go ahead and build, let's see, 28 production points left. Probably focus on building up the armor. And I'm not sure what the quality of the sound is, but there is construction noise going in the background. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put on some headphones. So audio quality will change a bit. Thank you for your patience. But in this way, we can maintain audio quality. So I'm going to go ahead and build up these armored units. So 1 there, 2, each one costs 8 apiece. So that's going to be 16 production points. I have 12 left. And then with the remaining 12, let's see, what else do I want to build up? I could build Italian units up. I think I'm going to hold off on that. I think I'm going to build up these Eastern Front infantry units. Like 1, 2, 3, like so. So that's it for the German side. And then as far as diplomatic events are concerned, we're going to do another diplomatic event for the Axis. And this is an interesting one. It is an Axis diplomatic event, but it's called, let's see where it is. It's called Romania Secedes Bessarabia. And basically, France and Poland must be defeated as part of the preconditions. USSR and Romania must be neutral or cooperating. And this is basically a prerequisite to get Romania to join the Axis. And so it's always going to happen. But basically, the USSR annexes Bessarabia and adopts a 1941 USSR-Romanian border. And then the next, after that, RX, Romania joins the Axis, is now possible. So that's what we're going to do. Let's see if we can find it. Let's see, Romania cedes Bessarabia. Let's see where it is. Looking. Here it is. And we're going to put it here, and then we're going to mark it for August of 1940. And now, basically, Soviet Union is obligated to occupy this new border. It used to be this black border of Romania, Romania 1939. You can see that here. But now it's going to occupy a new border, which is part of actually the summer 1941 starting position. But this is now Bessarabia. This whole region is Bessarabia that now is being occupied by the Soviets. All right, so with that, I think we're ready to start the Axis turn. We're going to go ahead and activate OKW. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move one of these infantry units and occupy this swamp terrain in East Prussia. So that's actually going to cost 2 supreme moves because it's on the Eastern Front and not on the Western Front. And right now OKW is on the Western Front. So that's going to be 2 supreme moves. And I think the remaining 4 supreme moves is going to be to get all these infantry units in Fileville and put them on rail so that we can start moving them by rail. So I'm going to start moving these units to the east. So move those 2 infantry units, and then we'll move these armored units. These are marching moves, and we're going to put them in Stuttgart, like so. We won't activate OKW. And I think I forgot to set up a
Axis reinforcement as part of the Eastern Front, the Mediterranean Front opening up. I meant to put this unit in Tripoli. I guess I'll wait next turn to do that since I forgot to do it on this turn. But the Italians do get, additional reinforcements. So not too many Italian units right now in the Mediterranean front, as you can tell. We got one infantry unit, this 10th Army in Tobruk, which is a smaller fortress. It's a Western Front fortress, so it has double defense and double fire. We got a militia unit in Benghazi, and that's about it. Now, historically, the Italian units actually invaded Egypt. We're not going to do that because Operation Compass, which is a fascinating operation, we can actually look it up. Let's go ahead and look it up. But let's see if I can find a cool map showing the operation. I think this one's pretty good. See if I can get the full picture of the operation. Here it is. And you can see the British, basically, they just clean sweep the Italians. The British, or excuse me, the Italians invaded Eastern or Western Egypt, rather, Western Egypt. And that's what these blue lines represent, these kind of blue-green lines. And they established a defensive position around Sidi Barani, which would be over here, um, in Western Egypt. And then the British, which are these red lines, launched a counteroffensive all the way from Matruh, and they advance, they flank the Italians, they, exploit a gap in their defensive lines, they encircle, presumably destroying this entire 10th Italian army, encircling it. Then they proceed to advance and kind of neutralize the remaining Italian units in piecemeal fashion. And the thing is that the British were outnumbered. I think the British had about 30,000 troops, while the Italian army was numbering well over 100,000. If we look up Operation Compass on Wikipedia and kind of look at the stats, um, we can see that the strength of the Italian army was 150,000 troops, but keep in mind these troops were marching in the desert. They didn't have many mobilized or motorized formations, while the British was the Western Desert Force, basically a single corps, and it was numbered around 36,000 troops. And this one corps was able to defeat um, one Italian group after another, and eventually make their way all the way into make their approaches towards Benghazi. And it wasn't until the they actually, I think they even took Benghazi, but then they faced the Africa Corps by Rommel, and they experienced a counteroffensive. But that this operation didn't begin until December of 1940. The Italian invasion occurred. It looks like they started marching in September of 1940, and it wasn't until February that the British arrived south of Benghazi. So all to say, pretty interesting operation. We're not gonna actually do that in this game. We have hindsight 2020, and we're gonna play a defensive strategy for the Italians and focus on defense rather than offense. So that's that. No more turns for the Axis. I don't think we're gonna do anything with the British. Oh, and actually, I haven't even started the log file. Um, Thankfully, we haven't done too much. But yeah, let's go ahead and start the log file. It's not a big deal because, I'm playing solo, but if I was playing by email, definitely want to have the log file. I would have had to start those turns all over again. But it's not a problem. We're going to switch over to the British side. And since the British HQ is at level 1, we're going to pass on the British. But now we are going to make moves with the Soviets since we're obligated to occupy Bessarabia. And if we don't, basically these areas are going to be affected by Soviet Axis border disputes, and we don't want any of that. So we're going to go ahead and activate Stavka, and I'm going to get as many Soviet units as I can to occupy these territories that are in Bessarabia. First thing I'm going to do is move this Soviet armored unit and move it to Cernalty. I'll move this Soviet infantry unit and basically move it to southwest of Kishinev. And so, they have zone of control. And we have this river as well. Next, I think I'm going to move this Soviet um, corps, this cavalry corps, and I'm going to move it over here, like so. That way, next turn, I can move it to the southern sector. Um, and then, let's see, so that's 3 supreme moves. I'm going to move another move. I'm going to move another corps over here into this mountainous terrain. I'm going to move up this Soviet infantry corps forward and replace that position that the corps moved away from. So we've done 5 supreme moves. And then I think I can do one more supreme move. Let's go ahead and move a Soviet unit to occupy that hex in the north. And now the question is what would be a good unit to do that? And I'm not exactly sure at the moment. I think I'm going to go ahead and move one of these mech core units and do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh man, it's not in range. Maybe there's a faster way to get there. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, no, we can move it another route a little bit more quickly. So this will be a round move. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, just like that. And that way, the entire front line is now occupied, and we have enough units to control all of the areas that are part of Bessarabia. We have zone of control for all of them. Of course, the Soviet position is still a bit vulnerable, but we can keep advancing more reinforcements on future turns. And then we're going to move the Soviet HQ unit, and we're going to move this unit to Moscow, like so. So there's that. That's going to conclude the Soviet turn. Moving on to the next fortnight, switching back over to the Axis. And I don't think we're going to do anything with the Axis. I think we're going to pass this turn. No units to move on the Mediterranean front. No Italian units to basically move around. No German units to move around. So we're going to conclude our turn here with the Axis. So there's that. We'll switch over to the British. The British are going to pass as well. We're now going to move into the month of September, and we're going to go ahead and start British production. British production this time is at 44, since we saved production from last turn. So with 44 production points, we're going to build up as many HQs as we can. So we're going to build up 3 HQs. We're going to build up this armored unit as well, which is going to cost 8. So we're at 30. We've spent 38. We have 6 production points left. The last 6 can be spent on this Canadian Corps, which was at level 1. And so we're going to build that unit up as well. So pretty solid British production. No production on the Mediterranean front just yet because we haven't transferred any units over. We'll switch over to the Soviets. We haven't transferred any production to the Mediterranean front, and we're going to wait on that a little bit longer. But you can, if you want to, deploy production to the Mediterranean front. But my British strategy is to focus on building up as many veteran units as I can before deploying them. That's the idea. The Soviets are going to be at production of 18. We're going to pass this turn on production, and we're going to go ahead and save that production for next turn. So that way we have 36. So we're going to actually move this to the month of October. And then now we'll switch over to the Axis. And the Axis is the main player right now when it comes to production, and when it comes to operational or rather strategic capability, because they have the most amount of Supreme HQs. They got 2, and they also have the greatest amount of production at the moment. The Soviets only have 18 and the British have 22. If you add that up, that is 40 production points. That's a little over half of what the Axis have right now, which is 78 production points. So with 78, we're going to keep building up HQs. We're going to build up OKH and OKW, build up Army Group Center, so that's 30. Now I'm also going to build up the Detail HQ, which costs 5 production points, and we're going to build up this Mountain Corps, which also costs 5. And I think we're also going to build up Army Group G as well. So what is that? We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've spent 50 in total, and now we have 28 production points left. We're going to go ahead and deploy this Mountain Corps, or excuse me, Motorized Corps, and put it in Tripoli. Axis reinforcements can only arrive in Tripoli, and all that can be verified in the Mediterranean Front rules, which are basically, 21.3 talks about this, talks about a lot, but it talks about reinforcements and where do reinforcements arrive. So MF basing, that's another rule. But we're looking for something about reinforcements, command and supplies, movement, um, combat, and then production. Initial allocations, transfer, shipping losses. Um, and there's another rule that talks about arrival locations. There it is, 21.374. And it says Axis units can arrive only in Tripoli. And that's the rule that we have being activated at the present moment. As far as diplomatic events go, before we do diplomatic events, let's finish up the production first. So we got 28 production. I'm going to try to zoom in here and give you guys a better view. 28 production. Let's go ahead and just keep building, prioritizing armor builds. Armor is expensive, so I kind of want my armored units to be built up as soon as possible. So we'll build up this armored unit. So that's going to cost 8. This other one is going to cost 8 as well. That's 16. Build up this infantry unit, 20. And we have 2 more builds left. And now the question is, which infantry do we want to build up? I guess I'll go ahead and build up this 16th Corps and 35th Corps. Build these units up at full strength. So that's it for German production. Let's see reinforcements. What kind of German reinforcements? Again, it's not until November that we get more reinforcements. And actually, I'm trying to see. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. Ideally, we have all the ports occupied, including Bayonne and Bordeaux in Western France, in occupied France. But right now, the chances of the British achieving an operation there are pretty low. They have to do a blitzed operation because it's 2 basins away, so that's going to be kind of costly, number one. Number two, we control this naval base at Brest, which controls the Bay of Biscay, so the British are going to have to experience supply interdiction, which is basically a die roll to check if these ports are going to receive supplies, as the Axis have the ability to interdict the supply path of these units. So it's kind of a shaky process for the British to occupy Western France, but there is an incentive, which is basically after one full season of France being occupied or France being conquered, there is an incentive for the British. It's called VF, which Vichy joins the Allies. And you can see the preconditions is that Soviets are belligerent, France is exploited, and then you count the Allied hexes in occupied France, ports count as double, and if you get a die roll that's less than that count, Vichy France joins the Allies, and there's no need to actually declare war on Vichy France. So it kind of accelerates the 1942 or the historical 1942 campaign in Operation Torch and the conquest of North Africa from the West. And so when you can accelerate the Allied conquest of North Africa, you basically accelerate the Allied conquest of Italy and say France, with an Operation Overlord. And there's an incentive to open up a second front as soon as possible against the Axis, presuming, well, whether or not the Axis declare war on the Soviet Union or decide to go after these oil fields in Iraq and Persia, there's an incentive to open up a second front against the Third Reich, against Fortress Europa as soon as possible. So there's that. So yeah, no production left for the Axis, but we are going to do a diplomatic event. We're going to try to get Romania to join the Axis, and that's going to be RX. So one of the requirements was that Axis RB or RG occurred. We already did RB on the previous turn. We need a die roll of a 1 or a 2. And just like the Soviet rolls for S1, you can reduce the die roll result by 1 for each prior failure. So let's see if we get it or not. No, so we got a 5, so we failed that die roll. And so now we'll find the marker. Um, Here it is. Vienna Award. Yep. And we're going to put it here, and we're going to mark it as September 1940. But it's going to be a fail. And so we're going to keep doing that until we can get Romania to join the Axis. So there's that. So now let's figure out what we're going to do with the Axis turn for this operation, or for the present moment. We got to figure out a good plan. But I think the priority number one is to shift all our forces to the Eastern Front. So before I start sending forces over to the Mediterranean front, I'm going to hold off and wait until Romania joins the Axis. So for now, I'm going to prioritize shifting units to the Eastern Front. And I'm going to spend 2 supreme moves per unit, basically. That's the game plan. So we'll start by moving this armored unit, which is at level 2. Should be, well, actually, we'll start with, we'll start with this armored unit. Declare it a rail move, strategic move. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's two strategic moves were spent. And then let's see, figure out another unit to move. I think we'll move this infantry unit. So we're going to go 1. Let's see, let's get these markers to be on top. I'll start all over. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, so that's 4 strategic moves spent. We're also going to move this airborne corps. And I'm actually going to move it into France. So we're going to go 1. I probably should move it. Maybe I should move it to the Mediterranean front. If I want to invade Crete. But I guess I will hold off on that. All right, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll occupy Bordeaux. Was that really 9? That was really close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. Okay. So we've done 5 strategic rail moves so far. Let's see. What else do we want to move? Go ahead and move these 2 infantry units. So I'm going to clone this 4 times, since we're moving strategic rail moves for both. And we're going to go 1, 2, oh, let's see here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, like that. So a lot of strategic rail moves were spent. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got 3 more to spend. Let's see, what other strategic units do I want to move around? Um, Probably move up one of these. Oh, I know. We'll move up. I think we'll go ahead and move up this infantry corps, and it's probably going to be two strategic rail moves as well. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, and then we got one more strategic move available. And I think what I'm going to do, let's see, I'm trying to figure out where else I want to move more units. Maybe move an Italian unit, perhaps. Um, Not really sure. We got one more strategic rail move left. And let's see, I gotta find one more unit to move around, figure out what that unit should be. I guess we'll just move up this Panzer Corps. We're gonna go 1, 2, oops. Oh, dang it. So we did one, two, three. Oh man, that always happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Leave it in pause none. Just like that, we did 12 strategic moves altogether. Deactivate both HQs. And then I'm actually going to move OKW. And I'm going to put it in Copenhagen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the reason why is because there's these areas where you have cross command, where you can command at full strength either front that it's at the cross point. So, for example, OKW can command units on the eastern front at full strength if we want to, and then at full efficiency rather, and then command at half efficiency on the western front rather. You can kind of flip those. So it's good to leave OKW in Berlin, and for now we're going to leave OKW in Copenhagen so that we can command the northern front units at full efficiency. And I want to get these units in position. I want to reposition these units a bit. So that's the idea. That's the game plan. So that's it for the German turn. We're now going to switch over to the Allied side. And I think we will, as much as I want to activate the this British HQ, I think I'm going to hold off on that. Um, because as much as I want to deploy this Africa Corps um, to the Mediterranean front, not Africa Corps, but armored unit to the Mediterranean front, I kind of want to wait until this this veteran um, HQ also can be deployed as well to the Mediterranean front. So I'm gonna hold off on that, on activating the Africa Corps. Actually, what I might do, I think I'm gonna go ahead and activate it anyways. We're gonna move this unit to Bristol, and then I'm gonna move one of these units over here. It's going to cost 2 supreme moves to move because it's at half efficiency because it's on the Mediterranean front. We're going to move one of these corps to Somaliland and just protect Somaliland from a Italian invasion, which would cut off this strait, the Somaliland Aden Strait, and basically block off our ability to move units into the Red Sea. So that's going to cost 2 supreme moves. And then I got 1 supreme move left, and I really don't need to spend it. I think we'll move this armored unit, or excuse me, amphibious unit rather, and we'll put it in Dover, like so. So that's it for the British. And then I think for the Soviets, we're going to pass on the Soviets. And we'll clear the strategic moves because this HQ is still at level 2. So that's it for the first fortnight. Second fortnight, the Axis don't have full strength HQs. We'll pass on the Soviets, and now we're going to do the British. And British are going to pass as well. So we'll move on to the month of October for production. The British have 22 production points. We're going to just go ahead and spend it on these 2 HQs. So we do lose 2 production points. Maybe I actually pass on that. Yeah, we'll pass on that, and we're gonna save the British production for November, um, so that we have 44 again. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. Then that's it for the British. We'll switch over to the Soviet side and do their production. The Soviets are going to be at 36 production points. And so we got this armored unit as a reinforcement. We had it in September, but we didn't deploy it. We're going to go ahead and deploy it now. We'll put it in Lvov. 36 production points. We're going to build up HQs. Go ahead and build up Stavka HQ and build up Lenin. I think build up, yeah, go ahead, build up in the Leningrad HQ as well. And that's it for the Soviets. No, not yet. Actually, we spent 30. We have 36. So with the last remaining 6, we'll go ahead and build up a militia unit. Not militia, but mechanized or motorized unit. Mechanized, I believe, is the term. I'm getting my terms mixed up right now. But it starts with an M, that's the point. And then we'll now do the Axis production. No diplomatic events for the Allies. We could try to get Greece to join we could try to get Greece to join the Allies. But as you can see, the chances of that happening are pretty low. Um, you know, but we could try. It doesn't hurt. The British will gain a little bit more production if we do. It is no October. I think the Greece didn't join until November, so we'll go ahead and do a die roll for that. And nope, the die roll misses. Now we'll go ahead and do Axis production, which is at 78. We're going to build up these 2 HQs. That's the first thing. That's going to put us down to 58 production points. Build up this HQ as well. So now we're down to 48 production points. And the rest is really just building up our ground units. That's kind of the name of the game right now. It's building up our ground units as much as possible. And one thing I want to do as part of the Axis strategy is actually transfer over these fortress units back to the Western Front. So we're going to transfer some of them, but first we have to send replacements there to do that. Yeah. So with 48, we have a lot of production. 48 divided by 4, since most of the units cost are four production points per step. It's going to be about 12 steps that we can build up. So let's focus on that. Build up 1 step here. Build up an armored step here. So that's going to be 3 steps. Technically, the equivalent of 3 infantry steps. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we have 2 more that we can build. I'm not going to build up anything on the Western Front just yet. I will leave them at level 2. Let's go ahead and build up these 2 infantry, 11, 12, like so. Actually, what I'll do is I'll cancel this infantry build, and I'll go ahead and build up one of the Italian infantry steps there. And that way we just spent 48 production points altogether. It is October, so still no German reinforcements. They're not until November, I believe. Yeah, not until November. And then we're gonna go ahead and let's see, what else are we gonna do? Um, I think that's it. Oh, we're gonna do the diplomatic events to get Romania to join the Axis. This Vienna Award. So we'll roll a 6, so it's another fail. So we'll clone this, and it's gonna be an October fail, and I'll call this the second fail. So this time, if we roll a 4, we will get it on the next turn, a 4 or lower. And now we'll go ahead and start the Axis turn. We'll do a die roll for weather on the Eastern Front because it is October, and you can see here, um, it's odd for mud, even for dry weather. But the Western Front still remains um, even or still remains dry weather. So we'll roll 2 dice. It's going to be mud because it's odd. And also we can do another die roll for the determining something called storms, which basically affect the operations in these basins. I believe I have to look up the rules, but I believe they basically deny the ability to do amphibious operations. Let's actually look up what storms do. Um, I think it's under the sea rules of the game, which is like section 15 or 16. Yeah, it's 15. Let's see if we can find anything on storms. Something that I'm gonna have to brush up on as far as rules are concerned. Um, let's see what we can find here. Sea assaults, nope. Invasion, sea invasions. I can also look at the index in the rule book and see if we can find it that way. That might be a bit easier. Sea movement, seasons, shipping losses, storms. Here we go. Um, storm effects 12.51. No sea invasion movement is possible through affected areas. That's right. And then also beachheads in affected seas are disrupted, losing their supply and port abilities for that fortnight. So there you go. So technically, we would roll for storms um, if it's mud. Western and Eastern Front weather die rolls also determine the occurrence of storms, which can only occur in mud or snow weather on odd die rolls. And so we did have an odd die roll, and we can look up what the storm is. It's a 5, so it's going to be the Arctic Basin. So we'll go ahead and put a storm marker there in the Arctic Basin, and we'll keep track of storms as we play. So pretty, inactive part of the front right now, an active part of the campaign of the theater, of the European theater. But you never know, things can change. So we'll go ahead and activate OKW and OKH again. This time I'm going to have full command, full efficiency command in the northern front by OKW. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and move. We actually need more reinforcements, I realize. We need some units in Narvik. I'm going to go ahead and move an 18th Corps to Tromsø via sea. And then I'll go ahead and move this detail HQ to Narvik, like so. Um, and I realize I actually want 2 units. Yeah, I want 2 units in Tromsø. I think I want the detail HQ there in Tromsø, and then I want another unit. I feel like I need another infantry unit um, over there as well in Narvik. So now we'll cancel this detail HQ move, and then I'll go ahead and move this militia unit to Narvik. So I think what I'll do, and we'll move it via sea. So it's going to move into the Norwegian Leeds, then Norwegian Sea. So that's going to be 2 supreme moves to get it to Narvik. And then we did, oh, so actually, this unit's going to have to march since this port can only move 1 unit in or out. So we did this militia unit actually is going to move via sea, via port, and then this unit's going to have to do a double march. So we've spent four supreme moves so far, meaning that we can move 1 more unit on the western front at half efficiency. And so let's see what unit I want to move. Probably move this 46 Panzer Corps via rail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. And now we'll do OKH moves. And I really want to reinforce these 3 hexes with these fortress units. So I think that's what we're going to do. We just move 3 infantry units. Um, and they're all going to be moving via rail. And each one is going to have 2 supreme moves. 2 strategic moves, supreme moves. All right, so this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, that's 1. Then we'll move this guy. Also 2 strategic moves. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, and then we got 1 more. Make it this unit here. All right, it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And that was actually 2 strategic moves. So that, just like that, OKW has moved 3 units to the Eastern Front. Fantastic. And now, on the next turn, we can pull out some of those fort units and transfer them over to the Western Front. But as you can see, we're basically shifting our momentum to the east. So I'll go ahead and deactivate OKH. OKH is not going to be affected by mud. Mud can typically disrupt HQs, but because it's located in Berlin, it's not going to be affected by that. And then we'll go ahead and activate OKW. Yeah, we better hope to not have mud on the next turn because this unit will be affected by mud because it's located in Copenhagen. But if so, it's not a big deal. So there's that. I think that's it for the Axis. We'll now switch over to the British, see what they're gonna do. And I really hope I didn't skip Soviet production. I'm pretty sure I didn't. No, the British are gonna pass. And you know what? Oh, okay, we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and activate Stavka, and we're gonna just fill in the gaps here as far as units, as far as like this whole territory here, these open areas. So I'll move the 7th Corps over here to Kishinev. This is a infantry unit, even though it's mud. Cavalry is not affected by mud, so they can move freely. So we'll move this unit 3 hexes forward. Well, actually, no, it is. It's a range of 2. Dang nabbit. So that kind of messes up our plan. So actually, what I'll do is I'll pass for the Soviets, and hopefully we have clear weather on the next turn. Um, yeah, we'll pass. We'll move on to the next fortnight of October. The Axis are going to pass. The British are going to pass. We're going to do a die roll for weather, and it is clear weather. Excellent. So there's no more storm. The storm icon is removed. And now we're going to go ahead and activate Stavka. and start moving some units around. This mech corps can move over here east of Jassy. This cavalry corps is going to move to south east to Kishinev. And then ideally we can put an infantry unit over here and another one there. But I think since we don't really have that many infantry units to spare, I think I'm going to go ahead and wait a little bit longer. We still have 4 strategic moves available. So I think what I really want to do is start transferring the bulk of this manpower from Finland and start transferring it over to the Eastern Front, especially now that the Axis are doing the same thing. So 4 strategic moves. We'll go ahead and move this infantry unit to Leningrad. So that's 1. Then I'm going to go ahead and move, let's see. Actually, I'll move this unit over here. And then, so we'll do that. Then I'm going to go ahead and move. That leaves me with what, 3 strategic moves, right? 'Cause we did 1, 2, 3. I'll move this Baltic HQ. 1, 2. Well, let's put the row marker on. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I think I'll leave it at Riga. And then we'll move this HQ as well. Going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Put it in Minsk. And then now we got one more strategic move available. Let's move this mech unit. And we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll put it right there, right in the center of the front of the, or at least the northern part of this eastern front. And we're gonna double fortify. We're gonna try to put 2 units on all these frontline units, which is a little bit different than what happened historically. But the idea being that we can maximize our defense against the Axis. All right. So that's it. We're now going to move on to the November production. I think we'll go ahead and start with the Soviets. The Soviets are going to pass this production. We're going to kind of follow the same sequence as before. That way we can not lose any production points as we make our turns. So we'll have 36 production for December. We're actually going to gain a little bit more because we'll gain production because the production is going to shift. And then um, let's see what else. Um, then we'll switch over to the British production. And we're going to go ahead and do British production is at 22. It's at 44 production points. So we'll go ahead and build up all our HQs. That's 30. We have 14 left. Let's see what else do we want to build up. Build up these 2 militia units. That leaves us with 8. And then I guess we'll go ahead and build up this armored units to top it all off. Or maybe what I'll do, so I'll go ahead and build up this infantry unit that was lost earlier. And we'll go ahead and place it in London, I think. All right, and then now we'll do the Axis production. We'll actually do a die roll to get Greece to join the war. And nothing. Switch over to the Axis. The Axis are still at 78 production points. So we'll go ahead and do their production. Build up these 2 HQs. That's going to cost 20 in total. So now we're at 58 production points from 78. And it's kind of a strange number because I don't know if I'm going to be able to build everything up. Because, 58 divided by 4 is not an integer. 56 divided by 4 is an integer. But So we'll see what we'll build. I guess I'll go ahead and build up this Italian mech unit here. I'm not sure what else to build up. Maybe I can build up these militia units. But no, they actually cost 4 apiece because they are on the Mediterranean front, or excuse me, northern front. I'll go ahead and build up this infantry unit in Bergen. It's going to cost 6. So now from 58 down to 52. So 52 divided by 4 basically can build 13 infantry steps right now. Um, and so let's see what we're going to build up. Pretty much focus on the Eastern Front build. So we'll go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, just like that. Excellent. And that's going to be it for German production. We're now going to go ahead and do a die roll to see if we can get the Vienna Award, and we do. So this time it succeeds. And so now Romania has joined the Axis. And now also, not only has Romania joined the Axis, but Hungary is going to cooperate with the Axis. So the Axis gain a substantial amount of production. We gain 5 from Hungary, 3 from Budapest, 2 from Győr because the Axis doubled the resource area, so that's 5. And then from Romania, we're going to get 8 from Ploiești plus Bucharest. So 5 plus 9 is 14 production points altogether. So our production jumps from 78 to 82 up to 92 because we gained 14. So that's excellent. Plus the Axis Romania joins the Axis. So we'll go ahead and deploy Romanian units. Their production is at 5. So we had to count all the months that they gained production, starting with the month of October, November, December, then January, then basically 1940, the months of 1940, including November. That's 11 months. 3 months from 1939 is a total of 14 months. So you do the math, 14 times 5. What is that? I think it's 70, if I'm not mistaken. It is 70, and then we're going to divide that by 4 because it's peacetime production. So what is 70 divided by 4? It's about 35. No, 70 divided by 2 is 35. And then 35 divided by 2, I believe, is 16 point something, maybe 17 point something. I think it's 17.5. Yeah, it's 17.5. So, that's the equivalent of basically, rounded down to 16 production points. And we can build up 4 infantry steps. And so we're going to go ahead and build up the 4th Romanian Army and the 3rd Romanian Army. And we're going to go ahead and deploy these units in Romania. So I'll go ahead and put this Romanian Army here. I think the 4th Romanian Army will go here. The 3rd Romanian Army will go in Galați. And then the last Romanian Army, this militia unit, I'll go ahead and put it west of Jassy. And now you notice how we have 2 more areas here that are vacant. We're actually going to deploy German units into those areas. All right. So now let's go ahead and start the German turn. Germans still have the initiative. We're going to do dice rolls for weather on the west and eastern front. So the first die roll is the western front. So it's mud. And then the eastern front is going to be snow because it's even. Um, and I don't think we get any storms. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do another die roll for storms. Nothing, it's even. All right. So now let's see what we'll do for the Axis. I'm tempted to not activate OKW on this turn because maybe next turn the weather might be even. It might be clear weather. So I kind of want to save that, but we'll go ahead and do OKH. And what we're going to do is move our these fortress units to the western front. That's the main priority. So we'll start with this HQ, or excuse me, this fortress unit. All right, and we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I just realized it's kind of out of range. And because we started on the Eastern Front, we can't double it, so I might have to wait another turn. Let's see. So that was 10, 10, and then let's see how we want to get it to Cherbourg. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so I'll go ahead and do it, 3 strategic rail moves. Um, so that's going to be 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's the second strategic move, and then the third one is going to be 16, 17, 18, 19, just like that. Nice. And then we'll go ahead and move this unit here. And we're pretty much following the same formula. 3 strategic rail moves are going to be spent. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And put it in Calais. Yeah. So hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yep, that's going to be 3 strategic rail moves. Go ahead and deactivate OKH. So now we have a few more infantry units. Oh, and I forgot the German reinforcements, dang it. For the month of November. I meant to deploy those units. So unfortunately we forgot to do that. Um, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to wait another turn for that if I want to stick to the rules, and I build a habit of learning how to not miss little things like that, little details like that. Um, and I just realized that I think I'm gonna have to go ahead and activate OKW anyways, because I want to get some German infantry units into this Eastern Front as soon as possible. So actually, no, we can wait on next turn to do that. All right. We'll switch over to the British. And then we'll go ahead and activate this British Supreme HQ. And now we're going to move these 2 remaining veteran Mediterranean Front units over to the Mediterranean Front. And so we're going to go ahead and start with 1 unit through the Irish Sea, then the Atlantic Ocean, the other one through the English Channel and Atlantic Ocean. I wish there was an icon that indicated sea moves, but there isn't. And then these 2 new units are going to end up in southern South Africa. Acclimatization takes place, and they're reduced by 2, just like that. And that's it for the British. Because it's located in London, it's not affected by the mud turn. All right, and then for the Soviets, I think the Soviets are going to pass because we don't have um, full strength Stavka. So yeah, we'll go ahead and pass on that. Well now, technically the Soviets got to roll first because of the snow weather, but because these early turns, it doesn't make too much of a difference. But the Soviets passed anyways. But we'll go ahead and now move to the next fortnight and do the die roll. Uh, it's even for both the East and Western fronts. So snow for the Soviets. The Soviets are going to pass. Well, now we're going to switch over to the Axis. and we want to move 2 infantry units over um, to Romania. So we're going to go ahead and make this unit a strategic rail move and double it, and then this unit also same thing. And I think we're going to do 2 strategic rail moves. So let's see, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can move through Hungary because it's now neutral and cooperating with the Axis. It's cooperating specifically. So what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We just can't stop in Hungary. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And then we'll move this unit. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, like so. And then I wanted to move Detail HQ over to Tromsø, move it via sea, but the problem is that it's going to require 2 sea moves. And yeah, at the present moment, um, I only have 1 supreme move since we're operating at half efficiency. Oh, and I forgot to activate OKW here. So that's kind of unfortunate. So I may have to pass on that and just accept that next turn we're gonna have to deal with mud for OKW. So we got 2 supreme moves left. I'm gonna go ahead and move Army Group South, and we're gonna make it a strategic rail move. And we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think we're gonna leave it there in Bratislava. So that's 1 strategic move. No, I think that was 2, right? Yeah, I think that was 2. And then we'll go ahead and deactivate OKW. As much as I want to move Detail, unfortunately, I'm going to have to wait until next turn to do that. So we'll move this unit. I think we can still leave it in Copenhagen. Um, yeah, we'll still leave it in Copenhagen. But next turn, it's going to be at half. It's going to be reduced by 1 because of the mud. And then that's it for the Axis second fortnight. The Soviets already passed. The British are going to switch over to the British, and I think the British are going to pass as well. And we'll go ahead and do British production. All right. Now it's December. The British are going to gain 5 production points. So actually, I just realized we probably wanted to transfer some of that production over to the Mediterranean front a bit sooner, but it's not a big deal. We're at 27 production points. We're going to transfer over 15 to the Mediterranean front. So that's going to leave us with 12 on the Western front. And then we'll put a Mediterranean front marker indicating that's Mediterranean front. This will be at 15. And then so we'll leave it at that. With 12 production points, we're going to pass for the British for the month of December for the Western Front, and then we'll roll the way you do Northern Front, actually, the way you do Mediterranean Front die rolls is that you basically roll. You basically do 1 die roll for every 5 production points that are being transferred over. And the idea is that you're dealing with naval interdiction, whether it's U-boats, whether it's the Italian Navy, for in the case of the British, or when it comes to the case of the Axis, it may be units operating the naval base at Malta and their anti-shipping aircraft. The the production that comes into the Mediterranean front uh, basically depends on die rolls. They don't depend on guaranteed production lines. So because our production is at 15, we get to roll 3 dice for the British and see how much production arrives, and you add up those values. And they can't exceed more than 15 production. That's the main idea. So we got 10 production points for the British. What I'll go ahead and do is build up this Western Desert Force by 1. It costs 9 production points to build, so we'll go ahead and build up that by 1. Then switching over to the Axis, we'll do the Axis production. The production is at 92, which is really, really high. I'm tempted to do a bit of transfer to the Mediterranean front, but I think I kind of want to keep that at a minimum. And the reason why is because I'm focusing on an Eastern front. I'm prioritizing my forces on the Eastern front, and so I want to make sure that all my units are built up at full strength. Um, we did pretty well in the French campaign, so I don't think we're going to have to worry too much about costs. But let's see, let's actually deploy German reinforcements first. We're going to deploy this militia unit and put it in Paris. And then we got all these German infantry units. These are all going to be deployed on the Eastern Front. Mech unit, we also got um, another HQ, Army Group A, which is technically part of Army Group South. We're going to go ahead and put that Army Group A in Lublin. I think this mech unit, let's see, I guess I'll go ahead and put in Lodz. The infantry units will go ahead and stack up 2 in Königsberg and then another 2 in Warsaw. So that's it for Axis reinforcements. And I could sit here and calculate just how much it would take to build up all these units at full strength. I really don't want to do that. But I think I might make the judgment call now and transfer, maybe we'll transfer 10 production points to the Mediterranean front, especially given how the British already transferred some. I think it'd be wise if we transfer some of our own, you know, playing as the Axis. If your opponent transferred some production to the Mediterranean front, you probably should do the same. So we'll transfer some to the Mediterranean front. And so now our production is at 82 on the uh, East and Western front. The Eastern front production is the same as the Western front production. And then the Mediterranean front production is at 10 production points. So let's go ahead and do the production now on the main fronts. Build up these 2 HQs. That's going to cost 20 total. So now we're down to 62 production points. Um, let's see, with 62, see what else can we build up. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, we have this infantry unit. Maybe go ahead and build up this Trondheim infantry unit. So from 62 down to 56. Now we have about 14 steps that we can build up. 56 divided by 4 is 14. Um, so I'll go ahead and build up this militia unit. It costs 3. Um, And then let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and build up. I can't build up the units that just freshly arrived, but we can go ahead and build up other units. So we did 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 6 more that I can build up. 8. Let's see, build up this infantry. 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, and then one more infantry. Go ahead and build up, let's see, I think this infantry unit here, 14, just like that. All right, and then that's it for German reinforcements. And then we'll go ahead and switch over now to the Soviets. Their production is going to go up by 2. It's going to go up to 20 because they gained 6. If you look at this table, from summer of 1940 to winter 1940, they gained 6, but their production is at 1/3 the production rate. So it's going to be a gain of 2. And so what is that? That is, whatchamacallit, um, 20, and our total production is at 38 because we gained these 18 that we saved from the month of November. Let's see if we get any Soviet reinforcements. We do gain 2 more armored units, including one from the month of November. Go ahead and put 1 armored unit there. And then I think the other armored units, I'm going to put it as a reserve and put it in Minsk. And I think we'll do one more die roll to see if Greece joins the Allies. But after that, I'm going to focus on Soviet reinforcements and basically start getting these Soviet reinforcements in this basically these 5 strategic reserves, and start deploying them because we kind of want them available for the summer of 1941. So um, let's do a die roll to see if Greece joins the Allies. It's a roll of 5, seems a bit high. But if I go to the diplomatic events for the Allies, and we see the conditions, Romania is now access controlled, and Bulgaria is not. So we needed a roll of 1 to a 3, and we didn't get that roll. So with that, that's going to end the Soviets. I just realized we probably should have done the second Red Army reforms, the S2, but we're going to have to wait until next turn to do that, it looks like. Um, yeah. Um, yes, that was definitely an unwise move on the part of the Allies and the Soviets. But with 38 production, I think we're going to go ahead and save it, because it might be we want to get we want to get the Soviet reinforcements to move over. We really need to start transferring these Soviet units as quickly as possible to the western, to the basically the western military districts because the Axis are building up. So yeah. But with that, we're gonna wrap up this. I think we're gonna wrap up this video here. We pretty much finished up the summer of 1940. And the idea was that you guys got a sense of the buildup phase that's taking place, a transitionary phase. I think the next video will continue this transitionary phase, continue doing that, and then we will eventually see what 1941 looks like, and it should be a pretty hot year, especially if we're preparing for an Operation Barbarossa. So with that, thank you for tuning in. Comments and questions below. I love hearing from you guys. And with that, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.